Welcome sa ating channel mga kaibigan. Let's talk about the latest products of SteelSeries. It is the Prime and the Rival 5 and at the same time the Aerox 3. So initially what I did in here is I requested the Aerox 3 from SteelSeries. That is out of curiosity na gusto kong matest siya to compare it with my TechWear, Pulse, TechWear EXO, the new trend of MM711 is Cooler Master and of course the X35 M4. Ito yung mga mouse na ginagamit ko as of now. Pero Aerox 3 is just the missing part out of doon sa mga meron ako. And yes, about mouse conversation, it is a bit preferential. In the end of the day, there are details or technicalities that we will discuss, pero sometimes it's very straightforward na nakalagay na sa specifications. And most of the sensors nowadays are a bit, kumbaga, close to nothing difference pagdating na sa real world experience or performance. Yet, there's still difference, of course, especially for competitive games and pro players. Pero for normal users or casual gamers, there is a very minimal difference, especially if you are comparing two mouse with almost the same or at least at the flawless side of sensors. By the way, I'll link below some sources and references to check the high-end sensors and entry-level sensors of mouse. Now, with that being said, that in the end of the day, mouse is always about your preference on build, quality, and design. Let's talk about my findings and experience using this SteelSeries mice. This video is brought to you by SCDKey, the best website that you may visit in terms of very affordable deals and best offer para sa application softwares, games, and yes, operating system. And there you are, you may check the Windows 10 Pro and by using our promo code, ma-avail mo lang siya ng around $14.95 or 700 plus pesos. That's it mga kaibigan, check the description below. May mga links po tayo dyan to go directly sa kanilang website. So we have three mice in here. The SteelSeries Aerox 3, Prime, and the Rival 5. So initially, ang gusto ko talaga na bilhin is itong Aerox 3. If I will spend for a mice, this will be the mouse that I will grab. So since makikita nyo naman dito na meron tayong TechWear Pulse, actually meron din akong EXO Elite, X35 M4, MM711, then cannot be denied that my biased choice out of those three na dumating sa akin is ito ring Aerox 3. Unang-una, lightweight. For 57 grams without the cable, this is very light mouse. Very minimal yung buttons na meron siya, especially na meron lang siyang 6 programmable buttons and you can configure that through the software. Yung kanyang covers, mesh, same with the some part ng kanyang left and right button. So makikita nyo na mesh din po siya. And yung kanyang out-of-the-box CPI button is itong nasa top. And yung kanyang mouse wheel is quite sharp and it doesn't sound hollow kahit na medyo magaan lang yung mice. It doesn't feel plastic yung material na ginamit dito. Now going further sa kanyang buttons, yung kanyang top, right, and left click buttons is very crisp naman. Yet the side buttons is quite soft. So that is only the thing that I found na parang for a mouse that is around 2,500 more or less, and at the same time it comes with SteelSeries branding, I think it does feel cheaper pressing those side buttons. Now to check on that, let's do the sound test. Let's compare it with other mice out there that comes with this budget pricing, especially the TechWear Pulse. It does feel the same with this SteelSeries, but quite more noticeable with the Pulse. Pero we will try also to compare it with other mice that comes with the same design, but it feels better compared with this SteelSeries Aerox 3. Now without sound test, yes, pagdating sa tactile feedback, it's almost the same. But when you go back sa ating sound test video and try to play it again and observe that sound and clicks, maririnig nyo na mas crisp sa mga ibang mice, especially for the Cooler Master MM711 and the X35 M4 compared to this. Anyway, that is just about the side buttons. Pero there are more that we will talk about this mice later when we will discuss the Prime and the Rival 5. Let's proceed sa ating bottom part. So makikita nyo dito na mesh din po yung kanyang bottom side, kaya hindi nakakapagtataka kung bakit 57 grams lang po siya. It comes with this PTFE skates that is widely popular, especially for competitive gamers. And yes, that is all about the less friction compared sa ibang skates. Anyway, before we move on sa ating next mouse, konting wrap up lang po. This comes with a mechanical switch up to 80 million clicks. And yes, the first IP54 rated mouse. So that is quite a bit shocking because it comes with this mesh design, pero it's claimed by SteelSeries na if in case matatalsikan ng tubig yung kanyang circuitry, hindi basta-basta mapapasukan ng tubig or hindi basta-basta matatamaan yung circuitry because of dust, because of water. So that is more about the IP54. If you want to check more about the IP54 certification pagdating sa waterproof or water resistance, you may check yung ating description below for the link. Pero hindi ko masyadong pinansin yung Rival 5. Aside from the fact na siya yung pinakamaganda out of the three. Because medyo mabigat siya. 85 grams? Yes. Pero I like the build. Napaka-solid yung kanyang build. Unlike with the Aerox 3, napaka-crisp nung tunog ng kanyang mga buttons. Left and right buttons, yung mga side buttons na dito, comes with a lot of buttons. That is 9 programmable buttons, kaya mas fit po siya pagdating sa mga mobile games like Dota 2. And then dito sa gitna for the CPI adjustment, and it comes also with 200 increments. So yung kanyang ergonomic design is saktong-sakto lang sa akin. The size of my palm is very fit dito sa size ng mouse na to. And it's actually good for guys that are into palm grip, claw grip, or even fingertip grip. This is acceptable for them. Pero it's quite big for others, especially here in the Philippines locally. This is quite big. Pero yes, aside from the size, it's quite heavy also for an 85 grams. So for me, I may consider this mouse if I will be into mobile games or into production. So it's like an everyday mouse that I may prefer. Especially kung gusto ko ng mas may control ako sa mga ginagawa ko like yes, Photoshop editing, editing. Pero into FPS gaming, it's acceptable. Yung skates niya is not like the Aerox 3 na PTFE, pero kahit paano, the buttons are a lot better compared sa ating Aerox 3. And yung kanyang scroll wheel is crisp also like the Aerox 3. So let me hear the sound test again for the buttons compared sa ating Aerox 3. So ayun, narinig nyo ng mga kaibigan yung sinasabi ko kanina na mas maganda yung buttons na ito. And yung implementations niya, the build is very solid and the tactile feedback ng kanyang button is sobrang crisp. And lastly, the most boring mouse that is sent to me by SteelSeries. Actually, ito yung pinaka-boring out of the three pagdating sa exterior looks. Out of the box, hindi ko kagad chinek muna kung ano yung specification niya. Parang it feels fake. Like, it doesn't feel 2,500. By the way, this Rival 5, Aerox 3, and this Prime is at around 2,500 more or less mouse. So, parang sabi ko, for the build na ganito, it only weighs 69 grams. So, that's quite shocking for me dahil sobrang gaan niya. It's like a mesh mouse, like the Aerox 3. So it comes only with few buttons. Crisp yung kanyang side buttons. Yung kanyang top, left, right click buttons are also crisp. And then meron din siyang button dito sa kanyang bottom side na kung saan gagamitin natin siya for CPI adjustment. And ayun, PTFE skates din po yung ginamit. So with the build, it's for right-handed people. The weight is good for FPS gaming. It's not something that I will expect much pagdating sa gaming, especially na parang tunog hollow yung mga buttons. Even very crisp, very tactile yung feedback ng kanyang mga buttons. Yung tunog niya is so fake. Kumbaga, it's like those fake mice that you can just buy at around 1,000 pesos. And yun nga, dahil tunog hollow. Without realizing that with that being said about the Aerox 3, na talagang ito yung prefer kong mouse, and that Rival 5 is next, and that Prime mouse is the last, when I use them both sa ating Valorant testing, and yes, of course, latency testing, when I did Valorant testing just to check the accuracy of this mouse, mas naging accurate ako dito sa Prime. Ang dami kong sinabing negatives sa kanya pagdating sa build. Speculations without checking the specs. Pero I just realized na nang chinek ko yung specs niya, it comes with optical switch. That optical switch is just the same like the optical mechanical switch ng ating mga keyboards. The implementations is just the same. Meron siyang infrared and other side niya merong sensor na once na may dumaan na obstruction, magre-register yung ating click. And that is the same with this. Yun nga lang ang downside ng ganung implementation, syempre dahil walang solid material like metal na nagko-contact, medyo tunog hollow na ngayon yung feedback ng ating buttons. Pero on the other side of that, I realized na medyo mas mabilis yung aking actuation with these optical switches compared sa ating regular or traditional mechanical switches. Actually, this is also the same as those switches. Mechanical pa rin po siya. Pero the way na mag-register po yung ating input is just in a bit different implementation. That is optical sensor implementation. Unlike with the other mice na meron ako na metal contact, yung reason kung bakit nagre-register yung ating input. So, it's quite shocking. Is gumamit din po siya ng higher end sensor. That is 450 IPS, the highest among the three. Next is Rival 5 with 400 IPS and this Aerox 3 with only 300 IPS. Now for the PixArt counterpart ng ating mga sensor, you may just check on here. Nandyan po lahat yung counterpart niya sa PixArt side dahil kumbaga in collaboration with PixArt po yung labeling or yung branding na ginamit po ng SteelSeries. So it's quite ironic na ito yung pinaka mouse na gusto ko pero it just comes with that entry-level sensor. I think the only thing kung bakit hindi ako or mas less accurate ako with this Aerox 3 compared with this Prime, aside from the sensor, aside from that optical switch, is because of the build-in ng kanyang right and left button. Kung mapapansin nyo po, may matinding wobble. So that is not observed with other mouse. Even na ganito yung implementation nila, the X35, the MM711, it doesn't behaves like that. Dito sa ating SteelSeries Aerox 3, medyo iba eh. It's not that good build actually or implementation ng design. And that is something na napansin ko. Aside from the fact na mas mataas yung sensor ng Rival 5 and Prime, comes also with a higher CPI dahil nga higher end po yung mga sensor nila. All of these mice comes with up to 1000 Hz falling rate. Now with that being said, which mouse will I get? Actually, I cannot rank them from 1 to 3. Like this is better over the other. Rival 5 is better among the 3. For me, if I will buy it for my production at the same time casual gaming, I will still go for the Aerox 3. Lightweight is a must for me. Actually, I'm a bit neutral pagdating sa aking grip and lightweight and yung kanyang neutral na shape and design That is the reason why I will just take this. Pero if I will be going for my pure gaming PC, I will take this. Any day, pagdating sa gaming, I will take my Prime. Ito yung pinaka-boring, yes. Out of the box, ito yung pinaka-boring talaga. Ayaw na ayaw ko talaga to. Walang RGB, nothing fancy, nothing sophisticated out of the box. Pero 69 grams, lightweight. I will take this. For Dota 2 and yes, for everyday production, I will take Rival 5. So it depends on what I feel and what is my preference on that day. Any of this mouse is good for me. There are cons that I've stated, there are bad feedbacks that I've stated, there are good feedbacks that I've stated. It's up to you guys to decide which mouse you will take. As I have said, it will always fall down to your own preference. So it's up to you guys. Narinig nyo yung sinabi ko. Based on my experience, it's up to you to choose which poison you may take. For more videos like this, feel free to subscribe. By the way, our local tech news update will be adjusted dahil nga po ngayon is, ang ginawa ko po is yung upload ng 5700G, supposedly Thursday, pero Friday and Saturday, that will be for this mouse. And then after that, that will be for the local tech news update. Thank you so much and stay safe, everyone.